There you have it. Star Ocean Second Evolution, complete, the main story at least. Oh, we're gonna get like a remix of the opening. I hope it doesn't get copywritten. What do you mean Claudia Lenz did Reina? Hello? That was Eden Regal. No David Lodges. I guess they weren't credited. Oh, David Lodge, there he is. Clap for David Lodge. He did so many side characters in this game. But anyway, Star Ocean 2. I actually like that ending. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if I like the fact that Energy Need got destroyed. I didn't really like that. I thought it was kind of thematic the way I thought it was thematic because like they had to like, you know, bear for their sins with the whole symbol of annihilation. I don't know. Part of me is like, I didn't really like that it was destroyed, but also I really liked seeing everyone like back on Expel. I love seeing that Claude was like a captain of the ship now, following in his father's footsteps. Reina was there. Very, very nice. One thing that confuses me. What on earth happened with Opera and Ernest? I don't know if they were married, but weren't they like lovers or whatever? Like what happened to Opera and Ernest? I guess they just separated. And Leon wants to be with Opera? Okay. But I actually doubt this will get copywritten because they let me put the opening on YouTube, so I don't think this will get copywritten. And this is basically the full version of the opening. Let's talk about the game. This is a good game. I think my favorite Star Ocean game is Star Ocean 3 still. This one's like really close. It's like a really close. I think I definitively like Star Ocean 3 more. Like it's not a tie. I like Star Ocean 3 more, but it's like really close to this one. I'll talk about the two games comparing later. I just want to talk about this game on its own. The story in this game, Disc 1, the story's like barely non-existent. It's very much like, oh, sorcery globe causing monsters. Got to do something about it. You go around the world, you know, getting characters. That's the Disc 1 plot, and then eventually they hit you with the whole war and the monsters and eventually the 10 Wise Men. That's when the story gets interesting. It gets a lot more interesting when you get, like, the 10 Wise Men and, the 10 Wise Men, and then Disc 2. I love the Energy Need stuff. It's not perfect, but I like the plotline Energy Need about the 10 Wise Men. I don't think they're, like... I think they're lacking in character development, but I do think thematically they're great villains. They pose as like a great antagonist group to the characters, and just like all the cutscenes we get of Claude's past and with Reina's story, you get Reina's past. Energy Need is really like where the story really goes. Is it like super outstanding, like phenomenal storytelling? No, it's not like the best story out there. But that's when the story's like, that's why I like the story so much. It's everything an Energy Need. It isn't perfect though. I feel like they don't do enough with the lore in the main game. Reading information about Energy Need and like the 10 Wise Men and the project with Dr. Lantis, that was really cool. I wish more of that was in the main story, and then at the very end with like Gabriel barely like dying and using his last words, I wish that was fleshed out more. The Wise Men don't really get much character development, which is unfortunate. And, you know, I think this game was made for the PS1, though. It was made for the PS1. I think the story is good, especially when you take the, I think it's definitely... I'm trying to find a way to word this. I think for the time the game was made, if you put into the fact that this was a PS1 game originally, it's a pretty good plot for a PS1 game, at least the second half. But I mean, I'm not excusing it. I'm not saying, oh, I'm defending it for that. Nah, but the story's definitely good. It's not bad. Especially in Disc 2, it really gets going. I like the story. This is definitely, like, of all the Star Ocean games, this is probably my favorite story and probably the best story, and that's really saying something, because even this story, its biggest downfall is, like, not being super deep or anything. And, you know. Another thing with the story is the characters. I like that they have optional characters. I like being able to build your own team and add some replay value to the game, but that comes with the downfall of the fact that the characters can't really get much in the main story. But that's where the private actions come into play. Private actions are just ridiculous to trigger. I wish private actions were easier to find. I tried my best to try to get as many private actions as I could, and I couldn't really find as much. I wanted to get a lot more in the playthrough. So I was like, oh, the private actions could be the chance for the characters. And I'm sure the private actions are good. I just haven't seen all that much of them because like they're really hard to trigger, either strict windows. That reminds me, the post-game, you are able to go back to Expel because Expel is now back. So you're able to go back to Expel in the past. So I'm hoping we can go get some private actions in the post-game to flesh out the characters at least a little bit more. But yeah. So the story is good. The characters are neat, I would say. I always got the sense that Ernest wasn't serious about Opera as she was about him. He's also like 35. Oh, he's 35 and she's 23? Really? The game didn't really... Again, if it did, it was probably in private actions. The game didn't really do a good enough job of showing that, I feel. Maybe if I did more of the private actions, it would be like, oh, it'd be easy to tell, but I didn't do as much as I wanted to because they're hard to find, so I didn't really get that experience. But, I did find it weird that Ernest wasn't with Opera. I just thought that Ernest was off doing duty and Opera was like doing... I thought they were just doing their own things and maybe they were still together, but I guess not when I saw Opera with Leon. But my word, okay. That's interesting, I guess. It was weird that I saw Opera and Leon together. I was like, why these two? The gameplay in this game, it's fine. The game could be frustrating in the early game, and sometimes with, apparently the Field of Might and Field of Courage have ridiculous encounter rates. The early game can be really frustrating, depending on how many characters you're recruiting. But it gets better. It's definitely not like a gameplay where like, oh, it's such a fun time. It's good. It can be good to fine. Another problem I have with the gameplay is the late game. I love fighting all the 10 wise men, but it gets really easy to like stun lock them and the fights don't last long. So... it was kind of like either stun lock with the final boss, it was like stun lock, or just have him obliterate you with spells, so I don't know. I much prefer Star Ocean 3's combat to this, even Star Ocean 4, which has the best combat in the franchise. Even Star Ocean 5's combat. So as much as I like Star Ocean 2, Claude, Rena, the story, the characters are neat, I prefer the combat of literally every Star Ocean game, except 1, because 1's basically the same. Oh, something I didn't talk about, Claude and Rena. They're good characters. They're good protagonists. They're a neat duo. I like their characters. Like, they're not super deep. Reina's past was pretty neat. They're not like super deep, but you don't need to be super deep to be a good character. I think they're neat characters, especially the fact that they're like the second Star Ocean protagonist. I love that they were together in the end. That foreshadows Emerson, actually. So Star Ocean 5 has a character named Emerson. Am I gonna get anything after this? Their adventure's just begun. Oh, that's a neat little thing to put. That's great. That's a neat little thing to do. I like this color scheme. I like the little thing that appears in the logo right there. That's really cool. I don't think the game will move from here. I think it's gonna stay here and you don't get to save the game. So I'm gonna leave it here, talk about the game, and I am done with stream. I'm not gonna start the post game today. We'll do that next stream. But Claude and Rena, they're good protagonists. They're not like amazing protagonists, but they're neat. They're good protagonists. They're good as a duo, and I think Claude's a little dumb sometimes, but other than that, he's a lovable idiot sometimes, and Rena's good. They're good protagonists. I definitely think Claude and Rena are my favorite protagonist of Star Ocean in the franchise. I was saying about Emerson. Star Ocean 5 has a character named Emerson. He has blue hair. He's Emerson T. Kenny, I think. Emerson Kenny, basically. He is the descendant of Claude and Rena. Because one of his battle lines in Star Ocean... I'm saving you all the time of watching my 53... I mean, it's only 53 parts. If you want to watch my playthrough, go ahead. It's on YouTube. But in case you don't, then he has one of his battle lines where, like, Claude says, oh, 8 out of 10. Emerson will say something like 80 out of 100, which is very similar to something that Claude says. And also, he has blue hair. So it's implied that Claude and Rena eventually got together, finally. And Emerson's like, I don't think Emerson's like their... Because Star Ocean 5 takes place like after 2. I believe Star Ocean 5 takes place after 2, before 3. So I don't think Emerson's like their kid or anything. He could be. It's not really implied. He's like a descendant though of them, of their like lineage, of Claude's lineage, because he's a Kenny. So yeah, and he's the captain of his own ship, the Charles de Gaulle. But yeah, I think Claude and Brain are in the what else am I gonna talk about? The music is good. The music's like good. I don't think it's amazing, but I think the music's good enough. It's definitely it's a good OST. They got some good tracks. The official strategy guide says their ages. You think I still have my strategy guide? I don't even think I had a strategy guide buying this game. Nah, but that's wild. That's wild that Ernest is 35 and I didn't know that. I mean, I believe you, but I don't have a strategy guide, so I wouldn't have known that. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. This is definitely my second favorite Star Ocean. I want to compare it to 3 for a little bit. I'll spend not much time talking about this. I'm just going to talk about what I like more in each game. I'm not going to go into like a whole... I already reviewed 3 in my Galaxy Redux playthrough. I don't need to do that again. So I'm just going to talk really quickly like, oh, what do I like more in this game? What do I like more in that game? Combat is easily Star Ocean 3. Star Ocean 3 is just a lot more fun. This game is like, you know, it's more dated. And again, it's either frustrating or just easily exploitable. Star Ocean 3 is no hard game. The main story of 3 is really, really easy. So I'm not trying to say it's hard. But the post-game of 3 is good. And the combat system of 3 is deep enough where it's like at least somewhat fun, even when you're decimating bosses in the main game. So 3 definitely wins in the combat. Protagonist, definitely 2. I like Claude and Reyna more than I like Fate. Fate starts off like meh to getting like tolerable, not like super stand out, but he's not bad. So Claude and Reyna are definitely the better protagonists. The music, I'm just gonna give him a tie for the soundtrack. The story, definitely Star Ocean 2. I definitely like Star Ocean 2's more because Star Ocean 3, I think Star Ocean 3's like whole Aeroglyph Arius, or Aquaria words. That plot line's like fine. Disc 2, some of the choices I'm like, meh, I'm like not for it. The ending of 3 isn't very good. And they didn't really do all that well with the like Sophia as a character who they tried to make relevant to the game. I think the whole the research on Moonbase thing is interesting. So 3 is kind of like a half and half. Like Disc 2, there's some stuff I like, there's some stuff I don't like. Disc 1's like okay at best. 2, the problem is Disc 1 barely has a story. It gets going at the very end, and then Disc 2 has a good story. Not a great story, but a good story. So, definitely 2 for the story, especially the ending. All-around characters, I think I like 3 more, only because 2 has a lot of optional characters, and they're all linked to private actions to get, like, their moments. In 3, I think Fate's okay. I like Nell. I like Maria. I'm trying to think of anyone else I like. And like Pepita's okay, and then like yeah, it's like basically a tie with the characters. I would probably say Star Ocean 3 though, because like it does better with like Maria and Nell in the main game. And Star Ocean 2, the only characters they really flesh out in the main game are Claude and Reyna, and that's because you know it's they're all optional. They can't really do much. What else? Oh, I guess I'll talk about the characters of 2. The characters of 2, I like Chisato. Chisato's a good character. I like Chisato. Bowman's neat. Celine's okay. Opera's good. Ernest is okay. Leon I don't really like. So, again, the best I could say about Star Ocean 2's characters are they're neat. They're neat characters, but they never really get much development outside of probably... I doubt the private actions will do all that much. That's like, oh, they're amazing characters. But the private actions would definitely make them, like, feel there, you know? Because you forget they're there in the main story. But the private actions would definitely do better at the character interactions. So I kind of wish I got more, but they're hard to find. There's not much I can do about it without being glued to a guide. What else? Talked about combat. Talked about story between the games, the characters. Overall, I think... I also like... the world, again, I don't think Star Ocean 2 or 3 do well with planet exploration. Star Ocean 3, like, you're on Ellicor for most of it after Vanguard 3, but I do like some of the areas of Star Ocean 3. I like, Sphere 211, Gemini's pretty cool. The Firewall, I hate the dungeon, but, like, it looks nice. And the Spiral Tower. Tower, words. I think Star Ocean 3's areas are like better like space themed. I feel like Star Ocean 2 is lacking in the sci-fi areas of the game. Like while it does have like spaceships every now and then and like another world, sometimes it doesn't feel like a true sci-fi Star Ocean. But that's not really like a bad thing because most games are like stuck on one planet like Star Ocean 5. But overall, I think that's basically all I want to talk about. I definitely like Star Ocean 3 more than this game, but like, oh, it's not very big gap. I think they're pretty close all together. So, yeah, that is it. But yeah, Star Ocean 2 Second Evolution, I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10, probably. Yeah, I give it a 6 out of 10. I'd probably give like Star Ocean 3 like either a 6.5 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10. Yeah, I think I'd give this like a 6 out of 10. It's a good game. I enjoy replaying it. I have my annoying moments with it, with Field of Courage and Field of Might specifically, and like some of the early game. But like, it's a good game. I'm glad I've returned to it. And the PSP remake, again, the PS1 has its charm and everything. But I definitely think the PS1 has some stuff that's like, oh, you want them? Like, I wish I had them back. But overall, play the PSP version. It's better. I think the PSP version is the better version easily. Because the writing in the PS1 gets like meh. And then like you got the full voice acting. By the way, that's another thing. The voice actors in this game, like, they did alright. Some of them were pretty like meh to bad. But I think Reina and Claude did good enough. So, you know, it was fine, the voice acting. Nothing, like, spectacular, like, nothing super amazing, but, like, they did fine for their jobs. But yeah, PSP version is the way to go. We're not done with the playthrough. We still have the post-game to do. I think it'll take, like, 2 streams. I would say 1, but I think 2 is the safe answer. So it'll take 2 streams to get the Maze of Tribulations done. So, this is what we have to do in the post-game. I want to go to Fun City, do the arena battles. That shouldn't take very long. Then we're going to do Maze of Tribulations. Also, they let you go back to Expel, which is how you get to Maze of Tribulations. So I'll go around looking for private actions and see if we can get any more as, like, post-game. So 2 streams and the game should be done. And then we'll move on to the next thing. But, yeah. Oh, something else I wanted to address. Changing the names to High Rank Angels was a good change to the group name, like Wise Men. I would agree with you. But I also like some of the PS1 names. Because, like, I think thematically, yeah, changing them to, and like, that was neat. I think it was neat to have them match a theme. But also, again, I don't like that there's 2 Gabriels in Star Ocean. There's a Gabriel Celeste. Why is the leader of the 10 Wise Men called Gabriel? So, while I would agree with you, that also means, like, I'm kind of half and half on it. I like the change in theory, but I also, like, missed some of the PS1 names because some of them were better, I guess. But anyway, we're done. 2 more streams, we'll get Star Ocean 2 done. Thank you all so much for watching the playthrough. If you're done watching the playthrough, if you just wanted to watch the main story, thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this Redux playthrough. It's not done yet, but if you're done watching, it was mostly a success. I had a great time replaying Star Ocean 2. Now I have this in 3 and 5 on the channel. I'm not going to do 4 until 6 comes out because I wanted to do 4 before 6, but, like, I've got other games to play. And honestly, 4 is not, like, a game I really want to squeeze in my schedule right now. So I'm probably going to do 4, maybe sometime, like, early 2023, I'll replay 4. And I'll replay 1 at some point. And I'll play this game again on Reina's side and get all the characters I didn't recruit in this route. But the next Star Ocean game, if you're not going to come back for the post game, then I'm going to say the next playthrough for Star Ocean is definitely 6. Comes out October 27th, I think. So I'll be playing that day of. I'll be playing the heck out of it. I hope it's good. I really hope it's good. But yeah, I hope to see you all for the post game. Thanks for watching the playthrough. And yeah, thank you all for watching. See you all next time.